Hello everyone, welcome to Aspire High, an educational content channel primarily focusing on management studies. I have taken up Human Resource Management course in semester 1 of MBA program of IGNOU. The core subject paper is the first course being covered in the new channel Aspire High. We have discussed Unit 1 later in 2 sessions. We have covered some of the topics of Unit 2, functions of HRM. Now the remaining 2 topics in Unit 2 are going to be completed in this session 3. So in this session we start with functions of HR managers. Earlier we discussed about roles and responsibilities of HR managers. Now we are talking about functions of HR managers. What is the terminology? Is there any difference, fundamental difference between a role and a function? Yes. A role speaks of what and why, whereas the function speaks of how. So what and why means the role, and how a particular activity is going to be undertaken, how a job is going to be done is the function. In this way, so we are now going to discuss about functions of HR managers. After thoroughly discussing the roles and responsibilities of HR managers in the previous session. HR manager has broadly 7 functions. The first one as an intellectual, second as an educator, third as a discriminator, fourth one as an executive, fifth as a leader, sixth as a humanist, and the last one and seventh one as a visionary. So we'll discuss all these functions one after another. The first one is HR manager as an intellectual. The HR manager shall have the skills to understand, communicate, and draft policies and agreements. He or she shall have the command over the language, mostly English, and there should be a mental ability to deal with the workforce in an intelligent manner. Here we are using the words like intellectual, intelligence, which are very much similar, appears to be, but not so. So then what is meant by intelligence? Intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Then comes intellectual capabilities. We call certain persons as intellectuals. Who are intellectuals? Persons who have the critical thinking ability and the critical reasoning ability. Actually, it is built upon intelligence. Intelligence is the raw material or raw ability based on which somebody will develop on his own, so that a critical thinking ability and critical reasoning ability is built up. That is called intellectual ability, and such persons are called intellectuals. So HR manager shall have all these abilities or skills, and to simply say, HR manager should be an intellectual. Second comes an educator. HR manager as an educator. So to educate somebody, first one should educate oneself. So there should be an interest to learn things on a continuous basis. Continuous basis. Notwithstanding the age. That is why we call it adult learning, pedagogy. Next is the desire to realize full potential, that is, which is there within the mind. That potential has to come out, and he should have a strong feeling that he should become a good HR professional. That will drive him like anything to achieve the goal set for in the department. And at the same time, he should also be a good teacher, and he should aim to be a good teacher. For that, what is required is first he should be a continuous learner. So this is the second function, HR manager as an educator. The third one is HR manager as a discriminator. HR manager should have the capacity to discriminate between right and wrong. So what is right and what is wrong? The judgmental ability he should possess. He should be very fair in matters of disciplinary action. That mindset should be there. For example, he is dealing with a disciplinary case in an organization. So some allegations are made, some misconduct is attributed. He should be very fair in going into the case details, and he should be able to differentiate between the allegation, the correctness or otherwise. Second, if it is so, whether it is a minor misconduct or a major misconduct. If it is a major misconduct, whether it is a fraud or non-fraud. That means the intention. The differentiation is intention, whether it is a fraudulent intention or a negligence of duty. All those things that comes under a discrimination, the ability to discriminate, which is judgmental in nature, but he should be very much fair in his approach. He should be a good observer of right conduct of employees so that he can identify the black sheep in an organization. The fourth one is HR manager as an executive. Here the word executive has different connotations. In certain organizations, employees, lower level employees, clerical level, next comes the junior level officers, managers, senior managers, like that, and higher level officials are called executives. In certain organization setup, executive means as a lower level person who simply executes what is already decided at the top level. Here the wording is based on the second one. So the HR manager should execute the policies and decisions of the top management already taken, say at the board level or at the top management level, that is CEO level. Only thing is HR manager as an executive, he should execute them without questioning, with objectivity. That means in true spirit of the policies already taken or decisions already taken and within the time frame that is given. For that, he should have the coordinating abilities with other departments, and at the same time in a HR department, HR manager should be able to identify outdated activities to eliminate them. Some activities will get outdated because of technological upgradation. So certain records need not be maintained in a manual form. If the law permits, they can be dispensed with and time can be saved. The fifth one is HR manager as a leader. Leadership qualities, all these things are very much familiar to all of us. HR manager should set himself or herself as an example to the entire workforce by his or her actions that are in consonance with the organizational culture and organization expectations in terms of the achievement of objectives and the like. So then only the leader, HR manager as a leader, will be in a position to inspire, motivate the workforce down the line. Not only that, as a leader, he should be in a position to resolve the conflicts among different groups, leading to teamwork. Teamwork was also discussed earlier. Synergy means 1 plus 1 is not 2 but more than 2. That comes out of a good teamwork. So this is all about HR manager as a leader. And another function, an important function, HR manager as a humanist. He should have deep faith in human values. This we discussed in our first video session while we discussed with evolution of HRM. That is respect for the individual, respect for the employee as an individual, as a human being. So for that comes from the heart only if one has having deep faith in human values. And second is empathy with human problems. Empathy means stepping into the shoes of others to understand the feelings, emotions, all those things of the other persons, assuming that if we were in that situation, how it will be. That type of understanding or concern is called empathy. Having sensitivity in the discharge of duties. That is, suppose an action has to be taken, a disciplinary action has to be taken, and a memo has to be served, a memorandum has to be served on a particular employee. And already everything has been made ready, record is clear, there is a misconduct. Only thing is it has to be proved and it is made ready. In the meantime, unfortunately, the employee gets admitted on account of severe illness and got admitted into an ICU. Are you going to serve that memorandum when the employee is in ICU in a hospital? No. You should have the sensitivity in the discharge of duties. That is what is all about HR manager as a humanist. The last one is HR manager as a visionary. What is vision? Thinking about the future with wisdom and with imagination. That is a very frequently used word, vision, that is futuristic thinking. Thinking of social obligations of the organization is important, more particularly in case of public sector undertakings, because it is imperative, more and more imperative in the case of public sector undertakings. Of course, but it is applicable to all undertakings because every organization derives its success from the society in which it operates. So HR manager should have that thinking process. And at the same time, he should understand the changes that are happening, socio-economic changes that are happening in the country. He should be able to assess the future events reasonably and strive to meet future challenges. So this is very simple to understand HR manager as a visionary. So these are all the 7 functions of HR managers. From the examination point of view, this is an important topic. The points that are enlisted in these slides may be jotted down by the students to prepare a concise notes for the examination, which will save a lot of time while revising for the term and examination. The last topic of Unit 2, Functions of HRM, is challenges faced by HR managers. The challenges will be internal, external, like that we can say. Challenges will come from within the organization, challenges will come from outside the organization. But broadly, when we talk of challenges faced by HR managers, we have divided them into 3 categories. The first category is organizational challenges, second is environmental challenges, third is individual challenges. So what are organizational challenges? Organizational challenges are not necessarily completely internal. These are no doubt these are internal in nature, but will come as a result of external environmental changes or external environmental forces. For example, organizational restructuring. Organizational restructuring may be warranted because of so many changes in a particular industry or in a particular sector. And sometimes economies of scale, mergings, amalgamation, merging, all those things are very much common in any industry. This is mainly because people think of economies of scale, cost reduction or cost cutting exercise, assuming that economies of scale will operate, and moreover, with size increasing, the capability to spend more on technological upgradation, the capability to face any downtrend in business all of a sudden, all those things will be better if the size of the organization is bigger. That is why mergers and amalgamations are happening in any industry across the globe. Second comes organizational culture, that also we discussed earlier. Organizational culture varies from organization to organization, at the same time from one time period to another time period. Outsourcing, which we discussed earlier, outsourcing is a recent phenomenon, but is having an important bearing on the HR and also the morale of the workforce. Downsizing also, for various reasons, these employees' strength is to be cut down. It is somewhat painful to the HR manager, but it is inevitable. And decentralization. Decentralization appears to be a good word, but at the same time, people will be resistant to forego certain responsibilities, powers, decision making authorities which were held for many years. All of a sudden, in the name of decentralization, it is going to be move downward, people will be resistant to such changes. All these things a HR manager has to face. These are all challenges to the HR manager. These are called organizational challenges. Environmental challenges, these are simply external. Suppose the laws of the country are changing. Suppose there will be something like so many laws which we will discuss in the next unit, that is unit 3. Laws of the country like provident fund, bonus, and so many regulations like Industrial Disputes Act. There are so many provisions which are to be complied with. They are statutory in nature. If there are any changes in them, automatically it is a challenge to the HR manager. Globalization is well-known thing for all of us. It is an external environmental change, and one has to accept. And labor demand and supply, it is also an environmental challenge because it is outside the organization. Demand and supply may vary. Sometimes construction workers, they are brought from other states. It means a particular labor is not available for supply. Demand is there, but supply is not there in a particular state. And the third one is individual challenges. This also, once again, we refer to the same words: respect to the employee. The treatment of employee means respect to the employee. The way the employee is given respect. Empowerment, employee empowerment, to what extent employee empowerment in the discharge of duty is there, and the job security issues, and finally the reward system, whether it is a monetary reward or a non-monetary reward, like nominating to a conference or nominating to a very big external training institute for a training program, etc. So there are 3 challenges: organizational challenges, environmental challenges, and individual challenges. Under this particular topic, we have to write, if at all it is a short question in the examination, challenges faced by HR managers. With this, all the 5 topics in Unit 2 functions of HRM are complete, and the student is now definitely in a position to provide an overview of HRM based on our discussion of functions of HRM and the emerging aspects of HRM function in session 1, and describe the roles and responsibilities of HR managers, which was discussed at length in the previous session 2. And now you should be able to explain. I am sure that you will be able to explain the functions of HR managers and identify the challenges faced by HR managers. Both these topics are covered just now in this particular session 3. I am sure that all the learning objectives set forth here for Unit 2 are achieved by us. Thanks for watching. We shall meet in our next video presentation coming up in a few days, wherein we will start Unit 3 of Block 1. I request all the viewers to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.